I'm Lindsay Del Carlo, the trial garden manager for Renee's Garden Seeds, and today we're planting tomatoes. This is a follow-up video to our tomato planting series. I have my tomato plants here. They're hardened off and ready to go, all acclimated to the outside. And hardening off literally means when you move them out into the outside, the tissue actually hardens up. So it's necessary to do that so that they don't go into shock when you transplant them. I already amended my bed with some really well broken down compost that we make in the garden. And I have very, very sandy soil here, so the compost acts to make your soil like a sponge so that it holds on to water. And if you have a more dense soil, like a clay soil, adding compost will really help with drainage and it adds nutrients. So compost is always imperative to amend your soil with. And I also have my granular organic fertilizer here. I'm just using an all-purpose fertilizer for my tomatoes. And depending on where you live, fertilizers are always different state to state. So you can always use any dry, good all-purpose fertilizer or one that is specifically designed for vegetables. I want about 3 feet spacing. Add my 3 tablespoons of all-purpose fertilizer. Mix it in really well. Make my hole for my plant and then just gently break off the leaves that would be buried. And then just backfill around the stem and gently tap it down. So now I'll water in my plants using a pretty gentle spray at first. And I let it really soak in. You can see the wells I made when I planted, they collect all the water and funnel it right down to the roots. I have all my beds on drip irrigation. This is called T-tape, and it's got little holes about every 8 inches, so it's a great way to water your beds slowly and evenly. So these tomatoes will get watered twice a week for about an hour on a slow drip. Next, I'll put a straw mulch on the bed, and this helps retain the soil moisture. I like to use straw because it's inexpensive and it's readily available by the bale at my local nursery center, but it's going to vary for you region to region upon what's available to you. So it's good to just consult with your local garden center. So I just take a flake of the straw and I wiggle it apart and just press it down onto the bed. This is a great way to cover your soil. It holds in moisture and it'll smother out some weeds that might sprout up. I have my big cages that I will put around the plants. I have these special cages that I made out of wire fencing. This fencing specifically is called deer and rabbit fencing, and it's got smaller holes on the bottom for rabbits and larger holes on the top. And any wire fencing you use, you want to make sure that it's big enough to be able to easily reach your hand in to harvest tomatoes. And these are real tall because tomatoes get pretty tall, and I just like them to be real sturdy. So I just place it right over the top with the tomato right in the center. And then tomatoes get very tall and heavy, so I use some stakes to support the cage. To make sure not to hit my irrigation lines. Just pound them in with the mallet. Then I'll use some plastic twine just to secure the stakes to the cage. like to go through and water down my straw mulch again because it's very fluffy and dry, and I just don't want any of it to blow away in the wind. So we've given our tomatoes a great foundation here to grow up and mature, and we're in early May now, so around early August we should be harvesting tomatoes. And all tomato varieties are different, so just make sure to read your packet instructions for times of maturity, and you can find many great tomato varieties to grow on reneesgarden.com. Thanks for watching.